You know, I've been on the internet since 2009 and started content around 2015, and I've seen a lot of grifts. I've seen the internet switch from one side to the next side. There's ebbs and flows to this thing. And depending on the climate at that time, it depends on the type of content that people come out. You have some people that was pro-black. They went from pro-black to being red pill, from red pill to being conservative, to talking just all kinds of crazy stuff about the black community. I watched them. I watch women go from being pro-black to being hardcore divester. Wherever they can make money, wherever the grift is that can allow them to make money, to denigrate the black community and black people in this social media space, they have done it. I watched them do it, right? So then you get to the Hodge Twins, Beavis and Butthead. These dudes, they're like goofballs, sounding like Beavis and Butthead. These guys went from being comedians to now being hardcore right-wing conservatives, right? And on September 25th, Alba and Preach, they made a video where Myron and the Hodge Twins reminded that they aren't white. And Alba and Preach, they have a very large following that people come out to watch them. I'm talking about they produce a video, it gets 1 million views, easy, right? These guys is kicking ass on YouTube. So the Hodge Twins saw that and they responded to it by saying this.
Not anti-black.
I'm anti, you know what, but I'm not anti-black.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm anti-black. I'm hard on black people.
Yeah.
Y'all need some criticism.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And, I am prejudiced, but everybody's prejudiced.
Yeah.
I just put my prejudice out there because I want black people to do better. We can do better.
Yeah, yeah. It's not wrong when having a bias or being prejudiced. It's only wrong when you use your biases and your prejudices to discriminate against people.
Belittle people, denigrate them. I'm not denigrating people simply because of the color of their skin.
Yeah.
I'm denigrating these people because
See, these grifters, these conservative grifters, they're paid very handsomely, right? The algorithm is very nice to these people. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to denigrate the black community, right? And denigrate their own people. You better not talk about anything that goes on in any other community, because we saw what happened to ABL the minute he disagreed and he sided with the Carmelo Anthony situation. He was called a primate. They was calling him all kinds of names. They love you as long as you side with them. So a lot of black people, they've been peeping his grip and seeing the money. So now they don't believe 90% of stuff that they talk about. But they say these things on social media to galvanize the audience that will listen to them, because they're saying things that a lot of W folks can't say. And they hide behind that, right? So Alba and Priest was really getting at them because of these type of talking points.
I don't want to live in the United States of America if it's not majority white.
If you take a second and you step back, if these idiots who profess conservative values are really wanting a conservative country, they think it only happens if it remains majority white. First off, there's a huge segment of the white population that votes very liberally. 1. 2, immigrants, by and large, are more conservative than whites in terms of their values and their politics. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I tend to agree.
The reason why a lot of immigrants who are conservative still vote liberal is not because they love everything they say.
It's just because they want to be included.
But these guys are so buck-broken. They're so obsessed with trying to appeal to whiteness that they'll just say the goofiest shit even if it means their own erasure. Are you stupid?
You're a second-class citizen in that space.
That's what they want. The benefit of being on YouTube and being consistent for the last 9 years is you get to observe the landscape change. You get to observe the trends, culture change. You see the content change.
So these people saying that they would only want to live in an all-white country, right? If blacks had to run this country, they don't want to be here. They getting out of here. It had to be all white. And now they mask this stuff by saying that they're only playing. But when you look at their content is shrouded around all denigrating the black community, denigrating black people. They talk about their experiences and being black, right? But then when they get pushback for it, they try to make it seem like they was just playing. It was just comedy. Right? This is the stuff that these guys do. They made this post, right, with Tyler Robinson after the unaliving of Charlie Kirk. It's a blessing the blank wasn't black, because there wouldn't have been any fathers to turn him in. Right? This is the comments that they make. And a lot of their followers, the people that actually support them, they was upset with this. But this is the stuff that these so-called right-wingers do, right? It's a blessing that this person wasn't black because there wouldn't be no fathers to turn them in. Right now, mind you, they have a black mother and a white father. And this is why they would post something like this, right? So a lot of their followers, somebody, Hello Skeleto said, really? This is the message y'all want to send? Come on, guy, right? So they start really getting pushback. Daryl said, man, I know some black people ain't crap, but why do y'all down black folks so much? I was a fan of Charlie, by the way, right? So they're getting major pushback from people, right? Somebody else said, you guys are black too. On top of it, married Mexicans. Stop with the stereotypes. This is why America is suffering. Both sides are ruthless, right? And this that was somebody named Doche, right? Then somebody came and said, Redskin said, this is just unnecessary. Even if statistically true, it's not productive. It's also hurtful to many of the fatherless children out there. I'm just thinking of the 12, 13, 14-year-olds that might see this. They don't care nothing about that. They don't care nothing about that. They're being paid very handsomely to speak in the manner in which they speaking it, right? So Amber Scott said, this is trash, not okay, right? Wally Gator said, only you guys can get away with posting this meme. I do appreciate your humor though, right? So that's a person that understands that he would want to be able to post something like this, but he know he can't. Black Oro said, stop, right? So they're getting a lot of pushback from a lot of people that will be their fans because they know that there's a lot of money in producing this kind of stuff, right? And controversy sells. But Auburn Preach wasn't finished. They really doubled down on why these people do this. And I love Abba when he goes in because a lot of things that he says make a lot of sense. He said this.
You take a second and you step back. If these idiots who profess conservative values are really wanting a conservative country, they think it only happens if it remains majority white. First off, there's a huge segment of the white population that votes very liberally. 1. 2, immigrants, by and large, are more conservative than whites in terms of their values and their politics. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I tend to agree.
The reason why a lot of immigrants who are conservative still vote liberal is not because they love everything they say.
It's just because they want to be included.
But these guys are so buck broken. They're so obsessed with trying to appeal to whiteness that they'll just say the goofiest shit even if it means their own erasure. Are you stupid?
You're a second-class citizen and
that's what they want. The benefit of being on YouTube and being consistent for the last 9 years is you get to observe the landscape change. You get to observe the trends, culture change. You see the content deep into stand-up comedy, doing the arts. And so I was going to a lot of events and I was in a lot of left-leaning spaces. And at that time, there was a lot of weirdness around blackness in left-leaning spaces because the way that they were patronizing, the way that they would belittle you with a lot of their, very soft-spoken racism, right? And when I spoke out about against this stuff, I got labeled a right-winger oftentimes. Never bothered me because I knew in my heart of hearts, I don't look at black women and say bad things. I don't look at my nieces and nephews and don't go out of my way to make sure that they celebrate their blackness. I know my values, so I'm okay. But I did recognize that over time, after I did a lot of this repeated content, the kind of people that would be drawn to it would be people who would often say horrible things about black people. A lot of these people who do this kind of content, you'll notice a very particular trend. Black people when I was growing up treated me badly. Black women rejected me. It's a lot of that stuff. And I personally, this is my own theory, a lot of these guys had negative experiences with black people growing up. And so they go into adulthood and they carry that on. And when it starts to come into their content, it seeps in. And then they get positive reinforcement and like, damn, this is the first time that I can openly say this shit about the people who hurt me when I was a kid and feel rewarded.
The album laid out, like he said, when he first started and he was getting money, he was putting up content and he was oblivious. He wasn't even paying attention. He was just giving life experiences and talking about certain things. And he was real on a hardcore liberal side. And he saw that he was drawing a certain audience that would come in and they would have certain thought processes about certain things. And he said he started to alter his content because he said, wait a minute. These people coming in don't align with the way I'm thinking, right? Then he had some right-wing people come over and they would start justifying some of the things that they do based off of his content. And he started to really get an understanding for the people that he was drawing in, right? Because remember, the internet now is giving you access to people coming in from all over the world. And they're coming in now with different thought processes, right? So he was saying that it's very lucrative, right, to talk about the right and going on the right. And if you on the right, it's very lucrative to going on the left. And then it's very lucrative for both of them to go into on the black community and use the black community as a template or a starting point for why you doing the things that you do. This is what both of them has done. So now the Hodge Twins saw I've been preach saying this, and they came in saying this.
This is my guy from other black people. Just because I didn't sound like them, just because I didn't carry myself like them, just because I had a different complexion, eye color, and all that. Man, it is crazy how black people treat me.
Yeah.
And it was real. It's not. I'm not making it up. It actually happened. I had a couple nights, had a gun put on me.
Yeah. I remember I was in boot camp. I think this black guy said I wasn't black, and he was arguing with another white guy saying, and the white guy said, how come he's not black, right? Because white people see me, no, that's a Negro, right? But we had our shirts off, and I had been out in the sun, and I was beat red. It was July, and it was in South Carolina in boot camp. And it was arguing, said, look, black people don't turn red in the sun.
Y'all turn purple.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the white guy said, aren't you black? I said, yeah, both my parents are black. He said, and did the black guy said, you ain't got no white people in your family? I said, yeah, I got white people in my family. He said, thank you.
That's the truth of the matter. People get made fun of by whatever group that you in. Everything that they're saying, they said that they was made fun of by black folks, which is bullcrap, because black folks, first of all, black folks make fun of everybody within the culture, right? There's a fundamental thing that's not being told here in America. They're not accepted by W folks, period. And they know that. But they can't come out and really say that because they would lose their audience. W folks don't see them as black. Don't see them as white at all. At all. And that's a historical truth. That's still to this day, right? Now, they may have been made fun of by black folks, right? But black people make fun of everybody. But there's white people that also say that they didn't feel like they was accepted within their group. There's an Asian person that can say the same thing. That's an Indian person. It's funny how whenever somebody got a problem with black people, they bring that up as if that don't exist in every culture, but we're just the ones that's wrong. So because black people didn't make fun of me, I'll go over to everybody else, and everybody else will accept me. Bullshit. But this is the stuff that they use, man. This is the stuff that they use. Every group. You have white people that feel like they're not accepted, and they fight amongst each other and argue amongst each other. Every group has this or has their issues within each other. They have their colorism, they have their beauty standards, they have all these different things, man. So it's just like black people get labeled and especially blacks in America, we just get labeled everybody uses us to make money off of. So what they're doing now is they're saying that white America accepted them, but black America didn't. And this is the thing. W America is only accepting them because of the talking points that they're using. Because they didn't blow up as big as they did until they went into this conservatism stuff using this black and white content. And if you notice, everything that they do is based off of the destruction of putting down the black people. They don't talk about nothing W folks do. Don't they got a W father? Ain't they part of the W community as well? They don't say nothing bad about that at all. Everything is about what black people do wrong, as if black is this. That's just the totality of black culture. They don't talk about nothing positive black people do. And then they had to say, well, we need to be hard on y'all. Well, wait a minute. Why don't you black conservatives that do this kind of content make content about positivity in the black community? There's a whole lot of it all across America because there's no money in that. There's no money from the W conservatives talking about positivity in the black community. It's a grift, and they know it. So I'm going to cut this video short here, man. You know, if you guys made it this far, man, leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think, man. Where's their W father at? Because I see them post pictures with their mother and their family, right? But leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.